On today's show, we have Marcel, who is the business development manager of PolyCrypt, formerly known as Perun, and Hendrik, the CEO of PolyCrypt. Perun is an off-chain framework that supports real-time payments as well as complex business logic and supercharges any existing blockchain. All right, for those that haven't heard of PolyCrypt, what does PolyCrypt do?
Sure. So PolyCrypt is a software company based in Darmstadt, Germany, with IT security and cryptography as its DNA. We're kind of trying to bring insights from the cutting edge research that we do and transform it into new use cases and products that weren't really possible before. And currently our main focus is on developing blockchain infrastructure technology for various blockchain ecosystems.
Awesome. So what is, I guess, kind of like the start of PolyCrypt? What led up to the initial problems that you guys were trying to solve?
Yeah, so the roots of PolyCrypt actually started at the Technical University of Darmstadt, also in Germany, and the University of Warsaw in Poland, with research papers on new protocols for a scaling solution for Ethereum. Kind of under the umbrella of the university, we received funding from the German Ministry of Education and Research and also from the Ethereum Foundation to implement the technology, with the main aim of making it a bit more universal. So we didn't want to be tied to one ecosystem, Ethereum. We wanted to be agnostic and kind of be able to plug in and plug out different blockchain adapters and also implement technologies like CBDCs that we might see in the future. We don't really know what they look like, and we kind of wanted to be open to also adapt to that kind of technology.
Is that agnostic because we don't really know who the winner is, or is that just the ability to be able to scale more infinitely?
Yeah, the idea is kind of to have a generalized framework for state channels that any developer can use on different ecosystems, and also, which is more important now, to kind of have an interoperability between these different ecosystems, because we see more and more layer ones rolling into the sphere, and we kind of want to be the connector between the different ecosystems as well.
We don't expect any ecosystem to win. We think lots of ecosystems have their rightful place where they are, and they are, hopefully, most of them are here to stay. And we kind of want to be able to connect them to achieve true decentrality, to achieve true ecosystem independence.
Okay, and so Perun Network, right? How does that fit in with PolyCrypt? And maybe can you explain a little bit more for listeners what the difference is or how each are operating?
So historically, the Perun protocols, and as I mentioned, this was kind of the starting point from a research perspective. And but in the meantime, we developed a different technology. So Perun was not the sole technology that we implemented. So we decided to rename the company to PolyCrypt, so that we have different kind of technologies under one umbrella. So Perun is one of them, and we have another one which is called Erdstall.
So let's start with maybe that, right? Break down each one of those and kind of go from there, like Perun Network, and what is the goal there?
Sure. Perun is, as Hendrik already stated, it is a state channel framework. That means that if you have any peer-to-peer application that you kind of want to execute on the blockchain, but you want to do that a lot faster, a lot cheaper, and still trustlessly, then you kind of refer or you go and use a channel framework. Now, Perun is currently unfolding a little bit in its functionality. We already stated we want to create interoperability between different blockchains. I already stated that it is used for low latency applications as well. We have a use case in gaming that is covering that. So not only is Perun one of our core products, but also it has its different subsets of application. Also, IoT is a big topic. As Hendrik already said, we are working with Bosch. We are seeing that a generalized state channel framework that works on different ecosystems on its own, but also cross-chain, is something that you can apply for lots of things. And that's why we say we build infrastructure more than we build a one service, something like that.
When you say peer-to-peer channel framework, right? Can you break down in some simple forms what are some use cases there and maybe how that works and applies?
Sure. Let's take a very easy one that everyone can fit into. Let's say you, Joe, and I, we play a game of chess, and for some reason, although we trust each other, making this podcast and everything, we don't trust that the other one doesn't cheat. If we just text back and forth some chess moves. So also, we don't want to play five to $50 with each transaction on Ethereum or something like that. So we kind of want to do that trustlessly, but we don't want to pay for that entirely, right? So what we can do is we open up a channel between each other and we send back and forth our moves. And then in the end, both of us check for validity. We both can check, did the other guy cheat? Did they do something that they didn't claim, that they didn't say they do? And in the end, if we both agree with the final state of the chessboard, we both sign that, we collect these 2,000 moves or something like that. I'm not sure if that's even a realistic number for chess. We condense them, we aggregate them into one blockchain transaction, and we only had to pay the fee once.
Got it. So all those transactions are occurring off chain. And then you're saying at the very end of the game, hypothetically, right? Both parties, the consensus that they agree on everything is correct. And then it batches the transaction. How can this apply to payments and make that cheaper, faster?
Sure. You can do that quite well with the Perun framework because yes, it's peer-to-peer, which actually only means two people or two parties involved, but the technology works also in a way that, for example, lots of you know Lightning Network, right? You can have a channel between two parties, and then one of these parties has another channel to another into another direction, and so forth, leading to what we call a channel network, right? Or also called virtual channels. And that, of course, is predestined to be a payment solution for a lot of people that mostly works trustlessly. Or topics like streaming money in, for example, let's say electric vehicle charging, right? You charge a few kilowatts every minute or so, and you kind of want to pay that live as you go and then plug off and drive away, like in the best case, automatically. That is something that requires a highly programmable framework that has a very low latency, and it kind of has to work offline because your electric vehicle, especially when we are from Germany, that's a big problem here. It won't have a connection everywhere where you want to charge, right? So that's another way that we can see the payment sector reimagined with Perun.
You mentioned Erdstall, right? Can you break that down for listeners?
Yeah, sure. So Erdstall is kind of technology that's a bit different from channels because, we imagined in the beginning you could scale Ethereum with channels, but that didn't really happen. And there are some applications like marketplace type applications where channels are not really applicable. So this is why we started Erdstall. And our goal here is to kind of build marketplace type applications for, use cases like NFT marketplaces. And our goal there was to have an abstraction layer because, not every company wants to have all this blockchain stack and don't really has the experts rolling in to develop all of this backend technology. So we wanted to make it easy for companies to build a marketplace application and integrate it into their website where they can just say, okay, mint an NFT and it happens within Erdstall. And the main benefits of Erdstall are that you have zero gas fees within the ecosystem and that you can have for companies kind of a private type of space, where you can onboard users and do your interactions, but then also have the opportunity to offboard to an actual blockchain. So Ethereum mainnet in that case, for example.
So is this like a plugin that someone could put in their WordPress website, kind of, from a user? What do they have to do?
Exactly, yeah. So it's a TypeScript SDK that you can call from your website, basically.
Who are the potential clients that you guys are going to go after there? What's the typical? Is this like a small business, an enterprise, a US, global?
Currently, we are really looking for traditional or more traditional companies that really want to step like their toe into Web3 waters, right? Because that technology is optimal for that. It's kind of trustless, but it's also still very much like under the control of the company. A great example for that would be publishers. Like they have their communities. They are experts in their fields. They have special content and special things they can give access to in the forms of NFTs, but also in other ways. And they kind of need to get into new sectors. They want to get the next generation as well as their clients. But they are kind of like still around their physical magazines and everything. Like this is a target group where we feel the topic is very, very interesting. But that also goes like for gaming publishers that want their game content to be on Web3 as well. But of course, we are also working with Web3 startups that kind of have that cool NFT marketplace-ish idea, but they don't have like the 15 tech guys who can really implement it or build it from scratch, right? So those are our two main, focus client groups.
For everybody listening, what is the best way for them to learn more about PolyCrypt or get a hold of you guys?
You can always join our Discord channel. You can always shoot us very conventionally an email. I promise to read them all and to answer them all. And of course, check out our resources, right? We have white papers on our respective homepages. You can find our sub homepages at www.polycry.pt. So basically at PolyCrypt.
We also have some Medium articles if you want to dive more into the technology. And if you're a developer, you can go to tutorial.perun.network or check out some demo on Erdstall.dev to kind of see how everything works and try it out and develop some application with that.